Hey everyone, did you know serial killers have done some of the most horrible things ever? Today we're diving into the scary facts about these famous criminals. From the packed crawl space under John Wayne Gacy's house near Chicago to the freezing lands of Alaska where Robert Hansen hunted people, we'll uncover the chilling details of their awful crimes. Join me if you're brave enough as we explore the darkest parts of the human mind. In the middle of America, under the normal-looking floors of a regular house, a nightmare was happening. This house, seemingly no different from any other in the neighborhood, held a dark and sinister secret that would shock the entire nation. It was a place where unspeakable horrors unfolded, hidden behind the facade of normalcy. John Wayne Gacy, a man who once dressed up as Pogo the Clown to entertain kids, had a terrible secret. He was a respected member of the community, known for his charitable work and friendly demeanor, but behind the mask of the jovial clown, Gacy was hiding a monstrous side that no one could have imagined. The smell of something rotting finally gave Gacy away, leading police to a horrifying discovery. Neighbors had complained about the foul odor emanating from his house, but it wasn't until the police began their investigation that the true source of the stench was revealed. It was a smell that would haunt the memories of those who encountered it. Under his house, in the small crawl space, they found the bodies of 29 young men and boys. Each body told a tragic story of a life cut short, of dreams and aspirations that would never be realized. The crawl space, a place meant for storage, had become a tomb for Gacy's victims. The number of bodies was just unbelievable, a truly scary sign of how evil Gacy was. The sheer scale of his crimes was almost incomprehensible, leaving the community and the nation in a state of shock and disbelief. Each body bag carried out of the house was a stark reminder of the horror that had taken place within those walls. The bodies were so decomposed they had started to turn to liquid, their flesh melting together. The process of decomposition had advanced to such a degree that identifying the victims became a monumental task. The forensic team faced the grim duty of separating the remains, a task that required both skill and a strong stomach. Scientists had the hard job of separating the bones, carefully putting back together the broken pieces of so many lives that ended too soon. Each bone had to be meticulously examined and catalogued, a painstaking process that was necessary to bring some measure of closure to the families of the victims. The work of these scientists was crucial in ensuring that the victims were identified and given the dignity they deserved in death. The country roads of South Carolina held a dark secret, a hearse driving around carrying death. Pee Wee Gaskins was the driver, a small man who did monstrous things. Gaskins liked his creepy job, his twisted humor shown on a sticker on his hearse, "I haul dead people." He would casually tell people he used the hearse to take the bodies of the people he killed to his own graveyard. A scary confession people thought was a sick joke. But Gaskins wasn't joking. He was a serial killer who killed many people. Milwaukee, a normally friendly city, became the hunting ground for one of America's worst cannibal killers, Jeffrey Dahmer. Dahmer's apartment, a place where he tricked victims with the promise of friendship, became a house of horrors. The air inside stank of decay because of the terrible things he did there. Neighbors who didn't know the horrors happening inside sometimes got surprise gifts from Dahmer sandwiches and other food. They had no idea these gifts might have had a horrifying secret ingredient, the flesh of Dahmer's victims. This thought scared those who later learned the truth, a terrible reminder of the evil that can hide in plain sight. Chapter 4. Sharing a shower with a corpse. Jeffrey Dahmer was truly evil. His small apartment became a museum of death, every part of it touched by his madness. As he killed more people, Dahmer needed more space to get rid of the bodies. The bathtub, a place where people usually get clean, became a scary sign of Dahmer's awful rituals. He dumped one victim's body in the tub and let it rot, only moving it so he could shower over the corpse every day. Imagine the horror of stepping over a rotting body just to wash yourself. This terrible act, done every day for a month, showed how twisted his mind was. Chapter 5. Hollywood Horror. Hollywood, the place where dreams are made and broken, became the setting for a scary story of near misses and creepy encounters. The glitz and glamour of Tinseltown often hide a darker, more sinister side. Beneath the bright lights and red carpets, there are shadows where danger lurks, waiting to pounce on the unsuspecting. The Hillside Stranglers, two cousins who terrorized Los Angeles in the late 1970s, were looking for their next victim. These men, Kenneth Bianchi and Angelo Buono, had already claimed the lives of 10 women, leaving the city in a state of fear and paranoia. Their modus operandi was chillingly methodical, and their ability to blend into the everyday life of the city made them even more terrifying. One night they saw a young woman. She was walking alone, seemingly unaware of the danger that was stalking her. The cousins watched her, their predatory instincts kicking in as they decided she would be their next target. The streets were quiet, and the air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the distant hum of traffic. Little did they know she was the daughter of a famous actor. Her name was Catherine Laura, and her father was Peter Lorre, a man whose face was synonymous with horror and suspense in Hollywood. Catherine had grown up in the shadow of her father's fame, but tonight that fame would be her unexpected savior. As they forced her into their car, they bragged about their past victims, their words full of arrogance and a lack of care for human life. They reveled in their power, feeling invincible as they recounted their gruesome deeds. The car's interior was dark, the only light coming from the occasional passing street lamp casting fleeting shadows on their faces. Then the young woman revealed who her father was, Peter Lorre, a famous actor known for playing scary villains. The Hillside Stranglers stopped. The name Peter Lorre struck a chord of fear in their hearts, not because of the man himself, but because of the potential media frenzy and police attention that would follow if they harmed his daughter. They were terrified of the attention they would get if they killed a celebrity's daughter. The realization hit them hard, and for the first time they felt a sense of vulnerability. Their confidence shattered, replaced by a growing fear of the consequences. So they let her go. Their reign of terror paused by a brush with Hollywood fame. Catherine was left standing alone, shaken but alive, as the car sped away into the night. The dawn light began to break over the Hollywood sign, signaling the end of a nightmarish encounter and the beginning of a new day. Chapter 6. The Alaskan Hunt. In the harsh wilderness of Alaska, a different kind of predator hunted. Robert Hansen, a seemingly normal baker, had a dark secret. He was a hunter, but he hunted women. Hansen would kidnap women from Anchorage, their disappearances often ignored. He would drug them, take them to the remote Alaskan wilderness and let them go. Then, with a rifle, he would hunt them down. The beautiful Alaskan wilderness became a hunting ground for a monster. Hansen's reign of terror lasted for over 10 years, his crimes a scary reminder of the darkness hidden in ordinary people. Chapter 7. The Sound of Silence. The Golden State Killer, a phantom who terrorized California in the 1970s and 80s, was a master of psychological torture. His reign of terror left an indelible mark on the communities he targeted, instilling a deep-seated fear that lingered long after his attacks. He used fear to control his victims, manipulating their emotions and creating an atmosphere of dread. His methods were calculated, designed to break the spirit of those he preyed upon. The Golden State Killer, then known as the East Area Rapist, would break into homes of couples. His entry was often silent, a ghostly presence that went unnoticed until it was too late. He would make the woman tie up her partner, a cruel twist that added to the psychological torment. The helplessness and fear were palpable, a shared nightmare that bound the victims together in their terror. Then he'd balance dishes on the man's back. This bizarre ritual was more than just a threat. It was a psychological game, a test of endurance and fear. The slightest movement could spell disaster. "If I hear those dishes fall," he'd whisper, "I'll kill you both." His voice, a chilling whisper in the dark, was enough to freeze the blood in their veins. The silence that followed was deafening, a void filled with terror. The threat filled the room with fear. Every second stretched into an eternity, the tension so thick it was almost tangible. The victims were trapped in a nightmare, their every breath a reminder of the danger they were in. For hours, the Golden State Killer would torment his victims, his crimes a mix of sexual assault, psychological torture, and careful planning. His meticulous approach left little room for error, making him a ghost that was nearly impossible to catch. The sound of silence, broken only by the clinking of a dish, became the soundtrack to a nightmare. This eerie silence was a constant reminder of the horror that had unfolded, a chilling echo of the terror that had gripped the victims. These stories show us the darkest parts of the human mind. They remind us that evil can hide anywhere, often disguised as normal. While it's scary to look at the darkness, it's important to remember these stories remind us what it means to be human. By understanding what drives these criminals, we can better protect ourselves and our loved ones. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more.